What's up, guys? Welcome back. So right now I am at City Hall. Kind of behind me is the main, I'm on these steps right here. Right next to me is the street, so it might be getting kind of noisy, but you know, the library lights weren't on, so I was like, shit, you know, I need to record. I got some thoughts. Let's get into it. So what I just came back from doing, I've been on this diet for about a week now, trying to go lower carb, low sugar, but I was getting a sweet tooth, so I decided it's time for some ice cream. I love ice cream. I don't know about you guys, I'm pretty basic. My favorite foods are probably pizza and ice cream. Love that shit. So I'm going inside, I'm about to get my dessert, and I'm walking through the hallways, and I see like this guy, and he's darting through one of the hallways, the aisles. Hallways, what is this, high school? And then there's the other guy, and he's by the freezers, you know, he's walking with his girl, but they just look so timid and afraid and filled with anxiety. And I'm thinking to myself, like, come on, boys, what the hell's up with you? What are you doing? Like, be here, be present. And so I'm walking around, I'm feeling good, maybe because I had a good gym session, but guys, I mean, life is so fucking cool, like, just to be alive. Imagine how much we miss out because we let anxiety and doubt get in the way of our daily life, our daily walk. Even we go into a building, instead of being here and present and now able to open up and impose yourself, to show yourself off. But a lot of us are just darting in and out, just trying not to be seen, you know, worried about what other people think about us, going in and out of stores and just to get that quick thing that we're gonna go back home and do or fucking eat. It's like, be present, be present, be present. The Stoics, the ancient texts, they had a way of thinking. They would say, live inside of death. Live inside of death. What does that even mean? Live inside of death. Guys, I'm reading this book, like I've been telling you, The Subtle Art. I'm not giving a fuck, but he's saying, like, one day he was walking towards the edge of a cliff, and at 10 feet your back begins to sort of tighten up. The animal instinct of fear arises. The hair on the back of your neck stands up. I don't know if you've ever been close to a cliff, but all the things, the red alerts go off in your brain. Don't go any closer, don't go any closer. So then when you're 5 feet away, then things start to happen. Your legs start to get a little weak. They feel like there's a stone tied to them, and you really have to, like, shut off that alert. All right, keep going, keep going. So 3 feet out, he's like, I'm shutting off my brain. I'm inching closer and closer, and I'm keeping my eyes, you know, I'm looking down, but not over the edge yet. Not like looking over, sort of on the horizon. And then at a foot away, I mean, you almost get vertigo. You start getting nauseous. Your body wants to crouch down and be safe. It starts imagining, you know, strong gusts of wind and someone coming to push you over. And then right at the edge, you see down this cliff, and all of the world as they sit. It's crazy. And to think that you could be no more. He says that when you confront death, that death is literally in front of you if you just were to slip or jump. Confronting death, living inside death, gives you a certain respect for life. I think that a lot of us, myself included, have grown up and learned to live a life that is not thoughtful of death. There's an old saying, Memento mori. Remember that you will die. Remember that you will die. Guys, not a lot of us think about death. We're told in our society, don't think about it, right? It's avoiding that subject. But if you really think, guys, that one day I'm gonna die, this is what it is. There's beauty in that darkness, in that void. That means that we have the obligation to live a life that will leave something. What is the motivation for you when you get out of bed? What is it, if you have nothing to leave an impact on, why even get out of bed? You see, but a lot of us give no thought to death. A lot of us don't even care because we're caught up in petty worries. We're caught up about our looks. Man, am I fucking catching myself, you know, with looks and getting jealous and about the clothes I'm wearing or about how my Instagram looks or my social media. Petty things. Living inside of death gives you the outlook of one day there will be nothing. There will be no more me. See, when I'm gone, guys, I think that I want there to be something greater, something that lives on past just my time here on earth. And the point here is that it starts with holding myself accountable to certain values, to having certain boundaries. And there are things that I say no more to. You see, the problem that I think happens today is that everyone's so materialistically well off. We have everything, but in our heads, we feel so unfulfilled because we don't know what the fuck we're doing. We don't know where the fuck to go. We don't know our values. We don't know what is important to us and what we should be doing. Well, the things that we should be saying no to, right? Rejecting. Commitment is something that is frowned upon these days, right? I mean, you look at marriage, but I mean, in commitment is where a lot of happiness is found. In spending 10,000 hours on something and learning to master something or building something with time, with your energy. Because when you commit to something, you have to say no to all the other things that are not going to feed this commitment. But see, a lot of us are scattered. We're scatterbrained. We want the next best thing. We want this, we want that. We don't want to hold ourselves accountable. We want to blame other people because we feel this entitlement that we went through a hard time, so we deserve it. Or I am me, so I deserve to be better. I deserve that big house and that star, you know, that fucking beautiful car. I deserve all this shit. No. Really, what's going to make us happy is when we contribute to a greater cause than just ourselves. And living inside death is going to show us that our time is precious, that what we do today matters, what we allow ourselves to do matters. The problem that we see in today's generation is that, like, all of us are being fucking pampered. We're being conditioned to think that we need to be great just to be accepted in a world that broadcasts greatness around every fucking corner. When you turn on Facebook or Instagram and you see all these marvelous, beautiful people living extravagant lives, doing things, we conjure up this image of them doing these magnificent things in fucking Hollywood and you know, having a blast. But guys, I mean, we have conditioned ourselves not to be happy in our lives with our values that, for me, you know, once were being honest was a high value, having integrity and being a good friend, being loving and kind. But now it's become like this game where those have fallen to the wayside. There's no longer as concrete as they once were. I care about shallow things a lot of times, if I'm honest. But see, when you peer inside of death, when you realize that life is limited, one day I will die, it makes everything intriguing, it makes everything more worthwhile, and it gives you a reason to get up in the morning. Because you're not going to be able to do this another time. Right there, you're going to have to live now. You're going to have to live today. You're going to have to live like today is your last day. You see, but another one of my favorite things, and one of you guys, you know, asked me about dealing with pricks, give you some advice. Well, I don't know, man, all the time, because I still get upset when people, man, just really still bug the shit out of me. But how do I deal with them? You know, looking in death is a good place to start. Looking at the void of one day this is gonna fucking end, man. You know what? Shit doesn't bother you as much. I realize, and this is from David Dita, The Way of the Superior Man, but he talks about literally he labels masculine energy as like a force grounded in consciousness, grounded in death, that none of this fucking matters. Seriously, none of this fucking matters. You see, he labels the feminine as like this dance of like the waves, like the thoughts are always changing, like a wave on the ocean, and it's a dance, it is music, it is nature. And all of this to the masculine, he's just watching. Like watching afar on a stage, there's a fucking ballerina dancing, and you're in the crowd. And you're looking at her, you're watching, you're taking her in, but you're unmoved. You are grounded in consciousness, grounded in death. And you see, when you're like that, if that becomes a part of you, that you see the bigger picture, the whole, really what could bother you? What could bother you? This is a dying of the ego. This has become spiritual, if you ever get there. And maybe that's a noble pursuit for you. If you're thinking, fuck man, I really want to be there. This spiritual Zen-like state where you are now a part of the whole. You're not separated from the universe. You're just a part of whatever happens. And that's okay. Everything is okay. I love that when it comes to social, because now things don't bother me as much. When people say something and it's like a little jibe, it doesn't bother me as much as it would, if I was going to let that affect me on a deeper level. If that really wounded me, but it can't, because I'm fucking immovable, because I'm part of like the universe. Not to sound, filled of myself, but once you see the bigger picture, really what can hurt you? Even death has lost its touch, because that's the only thing that is certain in this life is death. And when you realize that you will die, then it makes everything else come into perspective. If someone says something mean to me, it's not important, it's petty. If I don't get those new Jordans, right, it's not important, it's petty. But what's important is that I make time for family, which I don't always. Or that I am loving and the best man that I can be with my woman. Or that I show respect, and then I open myself up to learn more and more about the world, and I take care of my temple, my body. There's an old, in the Hindu, I believe it's the Hindu religion, iconalism, and it shows the goddess Shikta, standing over Shiva. And Shiva's a male. He seems like he's dead, like a dead body, but on his face there's like a, like contentment, a smile. And standing above him is Shikta, and she's got like these heads, and he's got an erection. It's going to the fucking like sky. Now I'm describing this from the book, of course. I haven't actually seen the picture. That'd probably be dope. But Shikta is unmovable. Shikta is representing the masculine now. Being able to live in consciousness, even when everything else in life is a dance. Guys, if you ever look at anxiety or hard times that befall your life as a dance that you can overcome, that you can watch, when you see the insecurities, or even in your social, if you see mean people and you look at them as a dance, and if you're grounded in consciousness, unmovable, then this doesn't really affect you. It doesn't hit you at your core, because your core is a void. Your core is open to the universe. It is the universe. So when people are mean, you watch the dance, you become like Shiva, the god, grounded. When your woman is giving you shit and something bothers her this moment and something the next, and she's yelling and screaming and she's getting on your nerves, you grab a hold of her and you kiss her. But you see the dance and you be strong. With an erection, you're taking on life, guys, because you're immovable. You're stone, and that's what the world needs, is men that can step up to this, that can live inside of the void, that can realize they're dying each day, and that to have values, to live with moral, is what makes for a good life. To impact other people and to help others leads to a good life, to live for a cause that is greater for ourselves. live inside of death. Remember that you will die. I love you guys. Peace.